Guys. All right, the injuries for today. All right, Mo Hurst, calf, won't practice. Trent Williams, ankle, won't practice. Debo, calf, won't practice. Jimmy Ward, quad, won't practice. Elijah Mitchell, rib, won't practice. Go ahead.
Is George going to be back at practice today?
Yes, he is. Yeah, him and Jeff Wilson.
And no Robbie?
And Robbie. Yeah. Don't tell him I forgot.
Is the hope that Elijah will be able to practice at some point during the week?
Yes, yeah, the hope is.
What about Aziz and D Ford?
Yeah, they're full go. They're back. Yeah.
You expect George to get the ground running and be ready to play right away?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not counting on it 100%. I'm waiting to see how he is today. We're going to slow it down a little bit. Just been banged up the last couple of weeks. We're going to go pretty slow today. But I think the real test will be for him tomorrow.
What's up with your preparing for Arizona, not knowing Kyler's status? How big a challenge is that?
Not much because we're preparing like he's going to play. So we're not looking at any differently. If he doesn't, we'll adjust to that.
Is Debo not practicing just out of caution?
No, he couldn't go today. Hopefully he'll be able to go tomorrow. I'd be surprised if he can't go by Sunday, but he definitely can't go today.
How much has he meant to your offense this season? I mean, he obviously has a large chunk of percentage of the yards, but just with everybody else just kind of getting back in the flow and losing George last few weeks.
I think it means a ton. I mean, it's I think he did last year too when he played. When you guys look at those games, and whenever you can get a playmaker like that out there, and guys got to worry about it. Not only it helps him, but it helps other people around him. And I didn't expect Debo to have such a big game versus Chicago, but the way the guys around him stepped it up too, I thought it made things a lot easier just to allow that to happen naturally. And it was good on everybody's part.
Did he re-aggravate his calf, or is it just sore from it?
Re-aggravated. I mean, it was hurting him the week before, and he played a lot and threw a lot, and it felt worse after.
I think you said after the game that Brandon had a hamstring.
Ayuk?
Yeah, did you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very wrong.
On the Debo,
I mentioned Charlie just being tighter throughout the year and stuff. I think that's what I said. But I could be wrong too. I don't remember the press conferences as well as you guys do.
On the Debo screen, 83 yards, obviously Mack and Brunskill got way down. Is that a key to that play?
Oh yeah, that's what gives you a chance to get a touchdown. I mean, that's the stuff that you got to be good at to have a chance to get a first down in those situations. Usually you do it perfect and it leads to 4th and 2. So there was some really good effort on that play from everybody across the board, and then Debo just having the speed to almost get it down there.
Specifically those two guys, the center and the right guard, or just whoever can release?
No, it's everybody, but usually the backside tackle from the whole front side on. And Trent started it off. He overran Ogletree a little bit, which they always go there and backdoor him, and for him to shut it down and stop it, which allowed it to go and hit. We ran a play to Ayuk 2 plays before, the exact same play. And we ended up getting a clipping on it, which put us in that longer yardage. But all those guys are coming out hard, going against the grain, and it's hit or miss.
I also noticed after the bomb to Debo, Mack was the first one down in position to snap while most everybody else on the field was still running way behind him. It's going back to Atlanta, as he always had that kind of awareness, and I guess that's a showcase of his speed too.
Going back to Cleveland, he's always been that same way. That's why I used to call him, and still do, I call him our golden retriever, because he does that in practice every play. He's always running down the field, chasing the tennis ball wherever you throw it, and he enjoys playing football, and he never stops, and that's exactly how he is in practice every play.
We saw the video of you after the game. Seemed to be some words that maybe were silent, that maybe it looks like your mouth was moving, but there was nothing on the audio.
Yeah.
Is that just kind of like when you have that post-game address to the team, like what's going through your mind? Is it just stream of consciousness?
Yes. I mean, you don't have time to do anything else, so you just talk. And I haven't seen it, but I can imagine. I don't have the best vocabulary. I probably know a total of like 80 words. So I have to use those words sometimes to express myself, and that's why I do a lot better in meetings and stuff where I'm allowed to do that as opposed to stuff like this.
Kyle, regarding Kittle, you or John, or both of you, in the past have talked about you're trying to lessen his workload in 2018. you decided that's why you kept 4 tight ends to start the season. I understand why you wouldn't want to take George Kittle off the field much, but his workload hasn't been lessened. And asking in light of the injuries he sustained really throughout his career, and then his last couple of seasons, injuries that he can't play through. Do you have to look at that at some point, or something?
Yeah, I think when you talk about workload for tight ends, it's about training camp, it's about practice, it's about stuff like that. When a guy's not healthy, you always got to do that. But I mean, I haven't heard of people managing a tight end, especially one like Kittle. I mean, tight ends go. They play every play usually. Lots of them. You have different personnel groupings, but most tight ends are over 80% of the game. But Kittle's always going to play through stuff and go out there when he isn't 100%. And when he's not 100%, that's when you definitely got to do that. But I've never done that with a tight end before, though.
Is there any concern at all that the qualities that make him such a special player and an inspirational player in terms of aggression and contact could also be things that could, limit him in terms of the recurring injuries?
Yeah, I think it depends on the injury. I think we're dealing with the Achilles calf thing, and that's also because of how explosive he is and stuff like that too. That happens with explosive players who are especially not in the 170s and stuff like that. I think you deal with Debo. I mean, when you have the size of him and you're as explosive as you are, things do happen. Used to have it with Julio. Not many people are 230 can run 4.3. So the impact of that power and size, putting it into the ground every play, is always a higher risk of that type of stuff. So yeah, you got to be concerned with that. But Kittle does take care of himself. I think he got off to a rough start this year and tried to play through some stuff, and it's been lingering. Hopefully this break helped him, and hopefully we'll have some better luck getting back.
The 4th down tries throughout the league are way up. How is your philosophy on 4th down change? Has it changed at all since you became head coach, or do you approach it the same way?
I'm the same way. I go for it when I think it's the right decision to go for it, not just because of what analytics say. I do listen to analytics a ton, and I think it makes a lot of sense. But when it comes down to 4th and 1, I think I explained this a few weeks ago. But it's about how you feel in the moment, where you're at on the field, what's the call that you have, what are the fronts that they played, do you think you can block their guys, how good is the quarterback on the other side, what's the moment in the game, what's the weather. There's a lot of variables that go into that, and I know a lot of people have upped it in the NFL, especially on their own side of the 50, which is somewhat surprising. But I think guys have had some success with it, which has helped them win games, and I think guys haven't, which has helped them lose games. So there's never a right or wrong answer until after the play.
Worry about knowing coaches that go for it a lot because it gives them an extra down. So when you're going against that, is that something that you're aware of, that this guy might really go for a lot more?
You're aware for it to prepare, understanding, a lot of people who go for it, that might make their 3rd down call a little bit different than what you're used to. It might be more like a 2nd down call, knowing that they have 2 tries to get it. When you're expecting that a lot, you don't always have to be as risky on 3rd down. So I think it changes maybe a little bit how you play, but just because someone's going to do it doesn't mean you're going to play it differently on offense. That if it's working and they're getting more points than you and you're having trouble stopping them, then you got to adjust and you got to go. But you always wait to play out the game, however it's unfolding.
What are you guys getting with Charles Omenihu?
We've been banged up there at our D-line, outside and inside, especially here in the last couple of weeks. So we thought it could be important to add some depth to us. Looking into everything, the fact that getting him this year, a guy that does have another year on his contract, we don't want to do anything we'd love to do stuff that can help us this year, but you don't want it to be at the expense of next year. So that made total sense to us, and we just got him in here today, and we'll get him out to practice here this week, and I think he'll fit in.
Did you follow his career at Texas?
We studied him coming out, so I'm well aware of him coming out, but no, I didn't study him here. That's what guys a bit upstairs been doing. They gave us a tape. Our coaches think that he could fit in, and I'm excited to have him here.
You mentioned the other day Greenlaw still had some tests to pass to get his window open. Is that still possible this week, or are you looking?
No, we're looking at next week. Yeah, he didn't quite to get to where we want. Scared of just re-injuring and rushing back a little too early, so we're going to have to put it off another week.
With the Henry Ruggs situation, obviously it's terrible and common sense stuff, but do you have to address anything like that, or just how do you talk to your team about situations like that?
I didn't address it as a team. I talked to guys individually, just because it's such a big deal and it's such a tragedy and it's such a sad thing to see. We went through the draft process with him a year ago, and I think a lot of guys do know him, but just anytime you see something like that, I think we have the same reaction that probably everyone else on the planet has. It makes you sick to your stomach on both sides, and something that happens too much in this world, and something that not everyone cannot see enough lessons on that and why it can end very fast.
Take some more.
Did Trent's ankle injury influence what you asked him to do on Sunday?
No. Yeah.
You mentioned GPS, just, when asked about IU, not specific to IU. How closely do you look at those numbers? Does someone bring them up to you and go, look at this, or are you looking at these numbers yourself?
No, we get a print up on everyone every day after practice, and then on Mondays after the game. So it's something that I've just gone more into each year. Early on, I didn't always think they were that accurate, especially when I'd see Miles throwing his pads around and showing that he could throw his pads 30 miles per hour, and I know he couldn't run 30 miles per hour. But you watch so much as coaches, and you're like, man, the guys seem dead today. Man, they seem fast, stuff like that, and you're always doing it with your eyes, and it's really nice to match it up with some facts, and that stuff really helps.
Does it really kind of equal to things you see with your eyes?
Yeah, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. Like, one guy might be the fastest guy in the field that day, but he's the only guy that got a go route, and the DB didn't cover him, so he finished it for the next 40 yards and was really able to open it up, where everyone else was running some shorter stuff and didn't get to open it up. So it can be deceiving. You got to look into all of it. Just because someone has the fastest time doesn't mean they were the fastest. They might have the best opportunity. Sometimes some guys who can't run get the fastest time, and I started to try to figure out how they were doing that. And then I noticed after our stretch, Juice and Sudfeld, and they were all sprinting to the next drill as fast as they could, and so they were the only guys who really got like a track time in that day, and they weren't. No, I get everyone's time. Yeah, I get everyone's time.
Like, you get their fastest time?
Yeah, it'll say their max speed, their average speed. Yep.
Do the players get the printouts too?
I don't know if they do, but we definitely bring it up to them. Yeah, something that I am so glad they didn't have when I played.
You mentioned Friday, I think you said you want to have an announcement about Kinlaw and his surgery.
Yeah, not me. Someone who can explain it a lot better. Have they not done that? All right, yeah, the doctor who did it will write it up for you guys and get it out and explain it all. So try to get on that.
You'll translate.
No, I won't. I'll reread it for you guys if you want. Good? All right, guys.
Good afternoon. How are you guys?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Go ahead, guys.
You expect your punter to have a full week of good sleep
Yeah,
for the next game?
let's hope so. I don't know if he'll get any sleep. Those of you know when you get new babies, those babies cry at night, and you got to get up. You got to get up to help mama. But
What was that like Sunday? How did you go into that game figuring about how you'd be using your punter?
yeah, I tell you what, we had a great plan in place there. Obviously, we had guys that we felt like could do it for us if we needed to. Our personnel department was always on top of that in terms of always having options. Those guys are phenomenal at that stuff. And then really it was a credit to Mitch because Mitch gave us the confidence because he is a type of guy that is a consummate pro. He communicated throughout the whole thing. I couldn't say more about the way that he handled that situation. I'm almost like, take care of your wife, man. I'll see you, talk to you later type deal. But he did a good job of taking care of his wife, did a good job of just communicating with us. And it couldn't happen to a better guy to actually be there. And of course, we want him to be there for the birth of his child. He got a chance to do that, and he got a chance to be there for his team. So he deserves that. I mean, he's an awesome person. You guys that don't really know him, and you guys, some of you have got a chance to get to know him. But he's an awesome guy. So I'm glad it happened to him that way. And luckily, he didn't have to punt. The offense took care of business there, and that was a really good deal.
Yeah, you also got holder issue, like he's older. Did you have that? I'm sure you had backup plans there.
Yeah, sure. Backup plans there, just like you saw when we needed him to kick in Seattle. Juice held, so he's a backup holder. But yeah, you could have holder issues as well. But Mitch did a great job there, and he actually held extremely well in the ball game, so that was good too.
Just come in on a commercial flight red eye Sunday morning to the hotel.
He was there. I don't know what type of flight he was on, but Michael Slapp and their crew, they do a phenomenal job getting that stuff done. And he was there. He was ready to go. Saw him that morning and communicated. You know, they kind of just told me, hey, man, just go to sleep. Everything's good. Focus on the game. And Mitch was there. We were good to go.
You didn't get a chance to see Ayuk return punts a lot last year, but this year he's obviously doing it more consistently. Are you noticing more of a comfort level with him? How much better is he getting week to week just in terms of seeing things returning punts?
Yeah, he's getting better and better. The maturation process applies to all positions, to all players. He's getting better and better at that. I thought he did a really nice job of getting to that football and fielding that football. That was a really good sequence of plays for us. We felt like the kickoff, obviously we were down there 16-15 on the kickoff that we had there, and got that stopped at the 16-yard line because that dude's a dangerous dude. And then come out and we have the defense stopped them in 5 plays. They punted to us. Ayuk had that explosive return, 21 yards out to midfield, and then the offense takes the ball 6 plays, 59 yards or 52 yards there and scores, and we take our first lead of the game, 23-16. So that was a huge play by Ayuk, and we're seeing them get more and more comfortable. We're seeing the blockers do a better job. But, again, that's one game that's over, and we're excited about it, but we're really excited about playing against a division opponent this time for the second time. And you guys know how I am. Whether win or lose, we move on to the next one, and we try to play good football to help the football team. So that's what our focus is now, and that's what our goal is.
Couldn't have gone. Is there somebody that would have been able to punt? What did you do in that situation?
Yeah, we have somebody able to punt. We're always ready. I can tell you exactly what I would do in that situation for competitive reasons, but yeah, we always have backup punters, just like you have the backup safety on kickoff, just like you have to have a backup 5, you have to have a backup holder, you have to have a backup kicker. You have to go through all situations and scenarios, whether they come up or don't come up. You have to make sure you got a backup punter. You got to have a backup long snapper, as you guys saw last year when Justin School got in there and long snapped for us in the Giants game. I mean, you just got to those things you got to continuously work on and go through, and we got a great staff, and Coach Harper and Coach Mangin and those guys bring up situations, and we bring up situations back and forth, and sometimes I bring up crazy ones. They'll tell me to throttle down. That might not happen, but we always try to go through every scenario possible because for us, we don't get second down. We don't get third down. We only get 1 down, and we got 1 down to be special. And if you mess up that 1 down, sometimes it's magnified. So you want to make sure you go through every situation, every scenario, everything you get, and try to have a backup plan for it. But that's a great question.
Do you have punting tryouts in training camp?
Do we have punting tryouts in training camp? We always have tryouts, but yeah, we do. We do.
How is your preparation different when you're facing a team that you saw recently, like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, we basically approach every game the same way, like it's a new game. There are things that maybe you had in the last game that you maybe really liked, and some things that you didn't like. But the good thing about when you're playing an opponent that you're familiar with, things change from time to time, but you got some type of idea of what you will get. So to say that, I try to go into every game like it's a new game, I guess, to answer your question. And then just whatever information we have from a previous opponent or previously playing them, like when we played Green Bay a couple times in a year, you use those things on the back end.
Robbie out on the field a couple hours before kickoff. How's he looking? Is he ready to go?
Yeah, I think he's ready to go. You know, guys know Robbie. Robbie's a consummate pro. Happy to have him back on the field, and he knows how to take care of his body, and he's been doing that. He's been doing it a long time. He'll be ready to go. Good. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
birthday.
Oh, thank you.
29?
30. Yeah, man. Just got over. I will. I'll try. Any advice? All right.
Jimmy, seeing the post-game video of you guys in the locker room, it just seemed like there was a lot of, I don't know, stress relieved, a lot of excitement. Can you kind of explain, and you made the comment, we're getting right back to work, but can you kind of talk about how you felt in the locker room after that, what it kind of meant, and then that process of getting back to work?
Well, it's I mean, whenever you go on a 4-game, slide like we did, to get out of it and get that win, back in the win column, you got to enjoy it for that moment, while you're in the locker room playing right home. And then when we get back here, I think our group does a good job of, turning the page and moving on. Got a good game plan in this week for Arizona. We know a tough team coming in. I mean, one of the best in the league right now. They're playing good, and it'll be a good challenge for us.
Can you tell that, obviously the game plan is different because you're at quarterback than it was, whatever that was 3 weeks ago. What does that create an advantage for you guys in the sense that, you could kind of sit back and watch that defense?
Yeah, I mean, there's advantages, disadvantages. It's just a different style, I guess you could say. But, yeah, I think our guys, game plan-wise, feeling pretty good about it right now. We're in a good spot. We just got to go out there. And what we did last week so well was we executed the little details. We spent extra time on it, took the, whatever it took last week, we did it. And that's just what we have to do going forward.
What's it going to do to get Kittle back on the practice field for the energy and everything?
It'll be awesome. I mean, just having him out there for the walkthrough just a little bit ago, you could feel him. He's got some, fresh legs, so he's looking fast right now. So I'm excited to get him back out there. Just another weapon for us. We got Jeff Wilson coming back too, so it's a good Wednesday for us.
When you say focus on little details, what are you talking about?
Everyone sees the guy who catches the ball and makes the big play, but whatever the route complementing that is, the backside. We had a couple broken plays in the game, and I thought guys did a good job of extending the plays with me. It's just little things like that kind of slip through the cracks if you're not on top of them.
Elijah Mitchell's taken on a real big role really quickly in his career. What makes him so dependable?
He's starts with his mind. Just when you're in the huddle with him, you feel him. He doesn't talk too much, but you feel his presence. You feel when he's ready, when he's rolling, when he's in a groove like that. Just I don't know, all those little things for a young guy to have that. It's Hasty had that last year. I would always say, and Elijah's the same way this year. It's just you like to look a guy in the eyes and know that he's ready.
In terms of a percentage of yards gained, Deebo Samuel's percentage of the passing yards that the 49ers have accumulated is far and away the highest total in the league. I mean, way higher than
what is it? Do you know?
For another place, another
47%.
Wow.
Does that figure have to come down for the sake of a balanced offense as the season goes on?
You like to spread the ball around, definitely. I think some of that stuff just happens on the go, whatever it is. Broken play. Maybe he's on the backside and they switch coverage up or something. But yeah, you'd like to spread the ball around, get it to the playmakers, let those guys just go do their thing. But it's it's whatever it takes. If Deebo has to get 99% of the yards, I think he's willing to do it, and vice versa. So we'll do whatever it takes.
I know every week obviously is important. When you look at these next 2 weeks with division opponents in particular, like how important is it in terms of maybe the way the next couple weeks could shape your season?
Yeah, I think every week going forward is big now, especially with the little hole that we put ourselves in. So it's it'll be a challenge. It really will be. I mean, there's some good teams right now, good teams in the league, good teams in our division too. So it will be a challenge for us. But that's the NFL, man. Every week's tough. It's going to challenge you in different ways, and just it's how many times can you keep coming back and answering the bell like that?
J.J. Watt was such a big part of that last game, and now he's done for the year. So is that? I'm not saying it's an advantage, but what a difference does it make with him not out there?
Oh yeah, just his presence. It changes some things for us, but not tremendously. They still got a good front. Golden, Chandler on the edge. They still present some problems for us. So it'll be tough for us. But yeah, it's unfortunate. You never wish injuries on anyone, but just it is what it is.
I noticed it after your deep pass to Deebo. Alex Mack just sprinted down the field. He was ready yards ahead of everybody else. Have you ever worked with an offensive lineman or a center that hustles like that gets out in front of plays like that quickly?
I mean, on a post, that was impressive. He was moving on that one, but Alex is always like that. He kind of sets the tone for us offensively with that, just chasing down from the backside, getting a little extra block here or there. Those are the little things that add up throughout an entire game. Maybe steals you a first down on second down or something like that, and it's just I love having Alex like that, man. He brings that energy, good vibes that we need.
Do you notice him getting on some defensive players' nerves? It seems like after the play sometimes because he sticks with stuff. Like,
I don't know what you're talking about now. Alex, yeah, but you love to see that, though. That's especially from the center. He sets a tone for the rest of those guys, too.
I mean, I don't know if you can ask a specific question, but obviously with the Aaron Rodgers news, have you been vaccinated?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's unfortunate for Aaron, but
You guys had 8 plays of 20-plus yards against the Bears. Maybe not as many big plays prior to that this season. Do you feel that, like, during the game? Like, do you know, like, drives, like, man, this seems like a lot of, like, 15, 16-play drives where maybe you can make more mistakes or things like that?
yeah, I mean, it's a week-to-week thing just going against the certain defenses allow you to, make some of those plays, but whenever we get an opportunity to take a shot, Kyle's as aggressive as it comes with that mindset of play calling, and I love him for that. So it's, yeah, I mean, when it presents itself, we definitely try to take advantage of it, but it's one of those things you don't want to force it too much because then you get behind the chains and now you're in trouble.
Last one. Jimmy, the trade deadline passed yesterday, and I would guess over the last 6, 7, 8 months, you were the subject of some rumors. How much did you pay attention to those? Did anything ever come close? And did you ever have to use your no-trade clause?
I mean, nothing really ever came up. I mean, I was aware of it, obviously, like everybody. I've been traded last second before, so I know how that goes. But, yeah, nothing came up with that. And, yeah, we're past it now. All good? All right, thanks, guys.
How much time do you spend this week looking at Colt McCoy?
For sure, a little bit. Right now, we're anticipating that Kyler will play, and then if anything else happens, we'll be prepared either way. I think when Colt plays, they still want to execute the same offense. It's just, not as mobile of a quarterback, obviously. So.
How do you think the defense has played this season? The stats are pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
not great. The turnovers aren't great, but there's been other good things. How do you think generally you played?
Yeah, I mean, there's always room for improvement. I think with defense, you get better as the year goes on, especially when there's new pieces to it. Having a new defensive coordinator. The thing I'm proud about is the style that we played with, and even then, it's not as consistent as we want it to be. Right? Just the physicality, the effort. That's what we pride ourselves on, and I think that's what has allowed us to be a top 5 defense, but we're fully capable of being a number 1 defense. That's going to take all 11 and us executing at a higher level, getting the ball out more, getting more opportunities, getting our hands on the football.
You guys did such a good job containing Kyler Murray a few weeks ago. Not as good job containing Justin Fields last week. What was the difference in what you guys did?
I think Justin did a heck of a job. He probably surprised some of us, even though we knew that going into the game what he could do. He played a heck of a game. I think he did a great job. And not to say that Kyler didn't do a great job when he played against us, but I think that first game's doing a good job, knowing that he likes to retreat in the pocket and just kind of containing him throughout the game. We're going to need more of the same this week.
Played Kyler pretty much, I guess, his whole career. He came in the same year. How has he evolved, maybe just in terms of being a pocket passer and operating from there?
I think just quarterbacks in general, going from year 1 to 2 to 3, you start to really learn defensive schemes, reading defenses, and kind of working your progression. The game kind of slows down for you, and I feel like that's what has happened with Kyler. And you see just obviously the playmaking ability all throughout his career, but that game slows down. You see him speeding up, and so just being able to either speed up, moving around the pocket, being more aware, or speeding up in his progression, knowing where the ball needs to go with all those playmakers that he has. So he's looked really great.
Brendan, you just talked about having George back and the renewed energy. You got Gold and Wilson. What's that feel like for you guys, especially with these key 2 NFC West games that you're getting your reinforcements back?
Yeah, we need everybody. We need all our playmakers, all hands on deck to have a chance at winning. And like he said, having George back, one of our captains, one of our our best players on the team, that's a huge boost. Same with Robbie and Jeff. So yeah, I'd say the same.
How does practice change when George Kittle's involved in practice?
There's obviously more energy out there. He's just ball energy all the time. I mean, how explosive he is as a player. If we are ones on ones, I know just going up against him, just the ability to stretch the field and you can't really block like he blocks in the game, right? But I think probably just that leadership and that energy is the biggest thing.
Kyle said Aziz is coming back this week. Why do you think he's taken such a big leap this year?
I think with Aziz, man, he's remained humble the entire time. I think as you grow throughout your career, you get more comfortable in the scheme. The game slows down a little more. You gain that confidence. He had a heck of a training camp. You could tell that he was prepared from day one. He trained his butt off wherever he was at. I think Florida and came in ready to go. Had some setbacks early on, but that didn't stop him. He jumped off the tape week one and has continued to get better and better. Unfortunately, he had the concussion, but I feel like he's going to just pick up right where he left off.
On Sunday, you mentioned that it was unacceptable for the team not to have a win at home by now. Is there an extra chip or extra motivation going on to this game on Sunday besides the record, but just getting that win for your faithful?
Absolutely. And I think our DC, D'Amico Ryans, he talked about it perfectly with our defenses, that it's got to mean something to you. Playing in Levi Stadium has to mean something to you. And the fact, I still feel the exact same. I feel just as strongly that it is unacceptable. Does that mean we need to go and do something just crazy out of our assignment? No, that means that we just got to dial in. We got to focus in that much harder for 60 minutes, on Sunday, and that's what's going to take care of that.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.